Hello and welcome back to For the Very First Time to the channel. I am Will and today I'm going to be talking about my mid-month update. So talking about the books I've read, what I'm currently reading and what I'll be reading next. And so over on my channel with my brother, the Brothers Gwyn, I give monthly updates, and then on here I give mid-month updates. Although for the last few months that has been a bit skew-iff because I've been very busy at uni, etc. And so yeah, I've been a bit lax with the channel, but I am back and today I'll be talking about the books I've read in March, and it has begun with a bang. I think I have read, let me quickly count, 4 books so far, maybe even 5 books. And then because I read a book physically and also listen to a different book, I'm currently reading 2, and then I've got 2 or 3 books planned for the rest of the month. And so we've got fancy historical fiction and a bit of my uni reading list to come as well. And so let's get right on into it, into what I've already read during the month of March. And so the first book was Northern Wrath, which is book 1 of the Shackled Fates trilogy. This is the Broken Binding special edition, which is stunning. And so this is fantasy, but it is very Norse inspired. And so what more do you need? I really enjoyed the range of characters here. I think I wanted a bit more kind of interlinking the different POVs, but I imagine we'll see a lot more of that in the second and third installments. But I really enjoyed the kind of creativity, taking on different aspects of Norse mythology than I expected. And so it made it very different while still kind of familiar with kind of what I wanted to see as well. And so yeah, really good read, great audible narrator as well. I've forgotten her name, but yeah, really great narrator, and I'm looking forward to carrying on with this series. And then next up I have some historical fiction, and this is the Temple of Fortuna, the 3rd book in the Wolf Den trilogy. Oh my gosh, was this an emotional roller coaster. You've probably heard me, if you've been on the channel before or on the Brothers Gwyn, rave about the Wolf Den trilogy by Elodie Harper. This is just incredible, engaging, moving, emotive fiction. Elodie Harper is, I would say, one of the best writers out there for her writing style. I'll be very interested to see kind of what other projects of hers look like. She's going to be writing from the perspective of Boudica's daughter as her next book. But keeping on topic, this is the 3rd book, the finale of the Wolf Den trilogy, and Elodie Harper, through the first 2 installments, has already set up a wide cast of characters who we love and hate, and they're very vivid emotions, and they are the strength of this series, the characters. But also Elodie Harper manages to weave these different plot threads together brilliantly, where I thought, I don't know how it's really going to culminate. And it's very kind of precise and intricate work that she does that keeps you very tense throughout, because there's a lot of twists and turns in the first 2 installments, and that continues here. And it's bittersweet always finishing a series that you love, but yeah, I'm glad I read it. But yeah, it's a shame that I won't be with these characters anymore. But yeah, I highly recommend this series to everyone. It's one of those that I think transcends genre, in the sense that if you don't usually read historical fiction, or if you don't read historical fiction of this nature, I would still recommend it. I think it's one that you can enjoy despite that. It's a lot of what people say about Stephen King. Even if you don't like horror, you may still enjoy his books. And I think this is one of those that I'll be recommending to everybody, and I will not shut up about. And so yeah, that is the Temple of Fortuna, another great read of March so far. And then I have a reread. This is Heart of Darkness. I've read this twice this year already, because I'm studying English and history at Durham University, and this is on my reading list. And then so I read it in February, and then I decided to write an essay topic on it. So I read it again in March, and so yeah, back to back, very quick. And yeah, it's a classic for a reason. The first time I read this about 2-3 years ago, I didn't enjoy the first half as much, and then I thought the second half was utterly gripping. But I enjoyed the first half. I think I really appreciated kind of Joseph Conrad's genius, really, in kind of bringing this story, building those themes, and kind of building the tension as well, and having this kind of evolving story from an unreliable narrator is really great. And yeah, I recommend Heart of Darkness. It's one of those, it's a classic for a reason. You have to read it at some point, and I'm glad I've read it now 3 times. So yeah, I think I've managed to tick that one off. And then, is that everything? No, I also have read 2 other books, and one of those is Dreams of Fire by Shauna Lawless. This is a novella, part of Gale's Song. You don't have to have read either of the 2 books released in her trilogy. You could read this on its own, or you can read it after you've read those 2, or after just one, like I have. I've only read The Children of Gods and Fighting Men, but Dreams of Fire is a prequel, and It was brilliant. I flew through this. Often the problem with novellas that, even though it's really nice that they're short, it means that there's just not enough to really bite into. It means that there's not enough kind of content. And it means that you don't really have a satisfying conclusion to the novella, and it feels a bit like just filler for the world. But Dreams of Fire has a self-contained story, obviously quite short. I think it's around 100 pages. It is utterly gripping. It is brilliant. A lot of familiar characters, a lot of characters we've not met yet. And often novellas, when they're bouncing off of a series, the characters you already know are the strong points, and it's to the detriment of the new characters, and they don't really have enough time to really build on them at all. But Dreams of Fire is one of those rare anomalies, really, that the new characters, some of them were my favourite characters, and Shauna Lawless gives them the same respect as the ones that she's already crafted in her other works. And that is why this is a novella that you can read even if you haven't read the other installments. And it was great. Irish mythology built in with history in the 10th century Ireland. Fantastic. What more can you ask for? And Shauna Lawless is a great, smooth, elegant writer. And yeah, Dreams of Fire was a really fascinating and engaging and thrilling read. And then next up, I have Fury of the Gods by Papa Gwyn. So he's passed me what he's written of Fury of the Gods, and I can't say much more, but it's going to blow your mind, and it is worth the wait. And so yeah, that is Fury of the Gods, book 3 of the Bloodsworn saga. And then going on to what I am currently reading, I'm currently reading The Return to Adan by Dr. Fantasy himself, Philip Chase. Why have I left it so long to dive into the third installment? So whilst being at uni, I don't think I've picked up a book physically to read for pleasure. There's been many books on the reading list that I've really enjoyed, but because there's just so much, it has really just dominated my attention. And the books that I've chosen for pleasure have been read via Audible. But I wanted to wait for the right moment to dive into The Return to Adan, and I'm back from uni for 5 weeks, and so now is the moment. And I'm about 60 pages in, and I have been sucked right in straight away. The Prophet of Adan ends on a huge climax. The Prophet of Adan is book 2 of this trilogy, and The Return to Adan, I'm loving kind of the beginning, how I'm being immersed back into this world. I feel a lot of tension, and Philip Chase is just such a natural writer. It's just, it feels effortless. It feels like you're present, and I feel like that really effortless style makes such a difference being immersed, because there's a lot of writers who they can have a great story, great characters, but because of the writing style, it can feel a bit jarring. But Philip Chase, the complete opposite. He uses his writing to enhance all the other writing aspects, such as plot, characters, and I forgot what else was world building. There we go. I knew there was something. But yeah, all the different writing aspects, Philip Chase uses his kind of prose style to enhance these and make them better. And I cannot wait for the rest of this. And it's going to be another one of those bittersweet moments, I know it, that I'm convinced that I'm going to love this. But when you finish a series you love, it's always sad because it's over, but I'm sure that Philip Chase is going to deliver with this third installment of his trilogy. And then I'm also currently listening to Crucible of Chaos by Sebastian de Castell. So this was released a few months ago, and it is, I believe, a prequel to his new series, which is kicking off with Play of Shadows. And so that is released next month, or maybe the month after, but I'll be reading Play of Shadows soon. So first, obviously, listening to Crucible of Chaos. I think Brother Ed listened to it and really enjoyed it. And Sebastian de Castell is one of those authors. The camera may not quite be showing it, but on the top shelf, I've got 6 or 7 of his books up there. Then I've also read The Great Coats and Malevolent 7 as well, which is there. So I think I've read 12 books by him, which that is crazy. And it's about to become 13. So he is one of my most read authors. And he is just, every time he delivers. Sebastian Castell, his strength is his characters. He's incredibly witty, and his characters, they're often a bit anti-hero-ish, or maybe not the main POV, but many of the characters around them. And it's just such an entertaining read, whilst having a lot of serious themes as well. And I love that. It feels a bit like, not quite grimdark like Joe Abercrombie, but similar in that it's a very dark, serious read in many aspects, but there's a lot of humour as well. And so yeah, Sebastian de Castell, currently listening to Crucible of Chaos, really enjoying it. Only about, I think it's 12 hours and I'm only 2 hours in, so about a sixth. And yeah, really enjoying it so far. The characters jump right off the page, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we go next. And then on to what I'm reading next. And so my next physical read will be Empire of the Damned by J. Christoph. I have been waiting to read this for so long, and I'm so glad that it's finally been released. Empire of the Vampire was one of my favourite reads of 2022, I believe, and it is one of my favourite reads ever. It is epic fantasy that is dark with brilliant characters, incredible world building, and just such a great amount of lore that you can really dive into this world, and it feels vivid and real. And again, leaps off of the page. And I cannot wait to be back with these characters and continue the story in Empire of the Damned in this chronicler's tale, as we're hearing the past of Gabriel de Leon. And I've heard that there's another POV in Empire of the Damned, so I'm very interested to see who that is and see how that molds this story. But I've heard brilliant things from people such as Matt's Fantasy Reviews and also Mike's Book Reviews as well. And they've both absolutely loved Empire of the Damned. And so I cannot wait to dive into this next. And I know I'm going to be raving about it and boring you by talking about it so much in the months to come. And then next up, I will be, after Empire of the Damned, I'll be reading Watchman by Alan Moore. So this is part of my uni reading list, and this is called Watchman. And I know I've heard that it is key to kind of the evolution of graphic novels, and also I believe helps them to be respected far more as it does something very different. I'm not sure what. I don't know what the story is about. I don't know the characters. I don't know anything about it other than that it is a classic and I need to read it. And so, yeah, I'll be reading Watchmen very, very soon and be getting through this before the end of March. And then the last book I'm aiming to read in March is The Song of Roland, which is another text on my English reading list for uni, and this is by, and I believe, an anonymous author many years, hundreds of years ago, and I believe it is about the warrior nephew of Charlemagne, and he leads a battle, and I'm not quite sure what happens, but yeah, I've really enjoyed many. It's part of the Epic and Legend of Literature module, which I've read Beowulf and Egil's Saga, amongst many other texts, which I've absolutely adored. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that continues with The Song of Roland. Sounds like a very fascinating premise. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be talking about that on the channel soon as well. But that is everything I have read so far, currently reading, and what I intend to read for the rest of March. As always, do follow the Brothers Gwyn if you're looking for more book content, more of me talking about books, as well as my brother and us annoying each other a lot as well. So yeah, a little sprinkle of that brotherly teasing as well. Do follow the Brothers Gwyn if you want to see that. But anyway, everyone, thank you so much for reading. It has been an incredible month of reading so far. I've absolutely loved so many of these books, and some of them will be definitely on my favourites of the year. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you've read so far in March, what you're most looking forward to reading, and just generally how your reading is going in 2024. But everyone, thank you for watching and stay safe.